One of the primary things I learned was that she had a very sophisticated way of minimizing any personal problems. Some of the primary characteristics were essentially externalization of blame, tending to have a lot of inner hostility that is attempted to be controlled, a tendency to be very self-righteous, but to also deny that self-righteousness and to judge others. These people might have that anger kind of explode out at times. They tend to be very passive-aggressive. They may be self-indulgent, very self-centered. They could use manipulation tactics to try to get their needs met, very needy of attention, acceptance, approval. So borderline personality disorder is a disorder of stability. It's instability, and it's instability in personal relationships. It's instability in their emotions. It's instability in their behavior, and it's instability in their sense of self and their identity. That instability is really driven by this underlying terror of abandonment. When somebody is afraid of being abandoned.
Bu ama şuradan çok belli oluyordu. Bir kavgaları var ya hani. Kavga ediyorlar sonra kadın diyor ki işte bayağı hakaret ediyor sonra diyor ki seni seviyorum beni bırakma diyor. Niye hakaret ediyorsun o zaman? Öyle bir şey demiyor muydu? Ben mi yanlış hatırlıyorum? Dinlediklerimizde öyle bir şey duydum gibi hatırlıyorum. Çok rahatsız edici bir cümle hatta.
By their partner or by anybody else in their environment, and they have this disorder, they'll make desperate attempts to prevent that from happening. And those desperate attempts could be physical aggression, it could be threatening, it could be harming themselves. But these are behaviors that are usually very extreme and very concerning to the people around them. And they'll explode, they'll react in this heightened manner that is just exhausting for their partners. Oftentimes their partners will try to make them happy at first and really allow themselves to be a punching bag, thinking that they can somehow solve this problem, that somehow they can make this better.
Evet,
and eventually it just overwhelms them. With borderline personality disorder, you're having these fluctuating moods constantly. They can react violently, they can react aggressively, they will often physically prevent their partner from trying to leave if their partner wants to get space from all of this intense emotion. And oftentimes they will be abusive to their partners in these situations. But mostly we call this administrative violence. So essentially this is saying that they'll make threats using the legal system. So they might say...
Bu hanımefendi bir dakika Emre Ördün kendi psikoloğu mu nedir? Nedir tam olarak? Uzman, tutulmuş bir uzman mıdır? Nedir? Chat'te veteriner var mı? Özele gelebilir mi? Bir sorum olacak. Mert mutlaka vardır. Mert SSTM SZ'ye bir veterinerimiz ulaşabilir mi acaba? Bilir kişi kendisi. Tamam, okey.
That they are going to file a restraining order or claim abuse, or they might do these things to essentially try to keep their partner from leaving. In the moment, again, they're not consciously thinking, I'm going to keep my partner from leaving right now. They're just thinking, I can't stand this. I hate my partner. They went from idealizing to suddenly devaluing because of the hurt, and they'll do anything to express that big emotion of anger. And so that person goes from being idealized, the perfect person, to dumpster.
In addition to borderline personality disorder, I understand that you diagnosed another personality disorder. What's that?
So histrionic personality disorder, and these are really two sides of the same coin. Whereas I was saying that borderline personality disorder, a lot of the key features that you're going to notice are instability. When it comes to histrionic, a lot of the key features are going to be drama and shallowness. Similarly, with borderline personality disorder, there's this underlying drive of avoiding abandonment. With histrionic personality disorder, that underlying drive is to always be the center of attention.
İfadesinden çok Amber Heard'ın avukatının ona kekler hakkında sordukları akılda kalmıştı. Kekler? Madde kullanılan kekler mi ne?
You went to Mr. Depp's home for dinner and drinks before you were hired as an expert in this case, correct?
I was interviewed at Mr. Depp's home by his legal team. Dinner was served.
And the dinner lasted approximately 3 to 4 hours, correct?
Yes.
And it included
The interview.
drinks, correct?
Yes. Dinner and I believe drinks were served.
And don't you think that's a little odd that you're getting interviewed by Mr.
Hep beraber. İçki olunca ne oluyor onu anlamadım. Hep beraber çok iyi yaşayalım efendim.
Depp to decide whether you're going to testify adversely against Amber Heard?
I was interviewed by the legal team.
And he was serving dinner and drinks.
He was
correct?
not serving dinner and drinks.
Well, it was at his house at his behest, correct?
Yes, it was at his house.
Okay. And then you provided an expert designation in this case before ever seeing Amber or having an opportunity to review any documents or records. Isn't that correct?
Yemek ve
I
alkolle
did
bunun
not
bağlantısı
provide an
nedir?
expert designation. That's an attorney thing. My opinions are contained in my report.
And you have never qualified as an expert to speak to whether a person suffered from IPV, intimate partner violence, or was a victim or survivor of IPV. Is that correct?
That's outside the task of a psychologist to determine whether an event occurred. We assess behavior, we assess mental status, we don't detect crimes.
Doğru.
You were, in fact, so excited about being involved in this case that you told your husband, even though this was a highly
Yani kocama ben de söylerim ki aldığım işi. Söylemez misiniz mesela sevgilinize ya da ailenize, diyelim ki bir işiniz var ve bir iş aldınız. Ben söylerim. Ben ekibime de söylerim mesela, bir iş mi aldım, koştur koştur bağır bağır ekibime de söylerim. Mansur Yavaş'la yayın yapacağımı cümle alem biliyordu. Cümle alem biliyordu, bir tek siz bilmiyordunuz. Belli bir süre beklettik duyuruyu yapana kadar. Tamam, gizlilik de yani her gün yan yana duracağım. Her gün yanımda çalışacağım. Bilmeyecek mi aldığım işi? Şöyle düşün arkadaş, yani her gün aynı evin içindesin. Hani gizlilik okey, mesela kamuoyuna açmazsın bunu. Ama yani kocam ya, evliyim, aynı evin içinde yaşıyorum, yan yanayım. Ben çalışırken görecek. Bütün bir görüşmeyi kocasına söyledi mi? Bütün bir görüşmeyi anlatmam. Ama derim ki bu işi aldım derim.
confidential matter that you were going to be conducting the
Bunu nereden
examination
biliyor?
of Ms. Heard, didn't you?
That is not accurate.
You not only told your husband, but you told Ms. Heard that you told your husband, correct?
Ms. Bredehoff, that is not accurate.
So the question that was asked was because you brought muffins, you said, from your husband, right? You gave those to Ms. Heard, correct?
May I clarify what occurred so that we can stop talking about the muffins? What happened was that I was getting ready that morning. I frequently bring muffins to the office. My husband did happen to know that there was going to be a celebrity client coming in because on the mornings that occurs, which often occurs, we have to actually clear the office and move the staff to the other office. So yes.
Siz biri gelince niye temizlik yapmıyoruz? Bak şimdi ben de buna takılırım.
On the one hand, he was aware of that. I was getting ready. I asked him to go to the bakery near our house and pick up the muffins for me because I was running late. He often has to do that because I often do run late. He brought the muffins back to the house. I brought them into the office. Ms. Heard and I enjoyed the muffins together. I think I made a comment to her along the lines like, my husband got these for us today, meaning he purchased the muffins. We are now enjoying them because of him.
Why did your husband get the muffins for Amber Heard?
He did not get the muffins for Amber Heard.
He knew you had a high-profile client, and you were preparing for a very long time, and you asked him to pick up the muffins, correct?
Ne alaka ya, şu an ben hiç... Niye oldu ki kaldıysa? Nezaket göstermiş. Allah kahretsin. Almasın bir daha. Bir daha yok nezaket. Yok bir daha nezaket. İnanamıyorum ya. Demek benimle bir toplantı yapsalar kafayı yiyecekler. Ben direkt yemeğe götürüyorum mesela toplantı yapacağım kişi. Güzel bir yerde yemeğe götürüyorum. Yemek yediriyorum mesela. Neymiş bu ya?
I asked him to pick up the muffins for me, yes.
Okay.
The main opinion is that Ms. Heard's report of intimate partner violence and the records that I reviewed is consistent with what we know in the field about intimate partner violence, characterized by physical violence, psychological aggression, sexual violence, coercive control, and surveillance behaviors. The second main opinion was that Ms. Heard demonstrated very clear psychological and traumatic effects or the exacerbation of trauma from those statements that Mr. Depp made through his attorney. There were 3 statements that we evaluated to see how they affected her emotionally and psychologically, and it was my determination that they did.
And did you arrive at any diagnostic conclusions?
Yes, I did. I diagnosed Ms. Heard with post-traumatic stress disorder, and the cause was the intimate partner violence by Mr. Depp.
Kağıt kısmını çok şey yapamadım. Amber Heard'un takımını çağırdığı bir başka psikiyatrda Goldwater kuralına göre mahkemede analiz edilmemesine rağmen bir kişi hakkında yorum belirtme kuralı Johnny Depp'e gerizekalı, idrak bozukluğu... Ha? Ha? Gerizekalı mı? Gerizekalı mı? John Depp'e narsistik kişilik bozukluğu teşhisi de diğer teşhislerle birlikte sadece filmlerini izleyerek koymuş da söylediğine göre. Filmden koyamazsın ama onu ya. Ya bu arada şöyle, mesela ilk kadın da Johnny Depp'in tuttuğu da aslında psikolojik bozukluk tanısını belirtiyor Amber Heard'ün. Yani ama mesela geri zekalı demiyor. Anladın mı? Ya da işte nevrotik manyak hareketler yapmış demiyor yani.
And you said the rule was for presidents, right? And
That was
public
initially for
figures.
president, yes.
But the rule says it is unethical for a psychiatrist to offer a professional opinion about an individual. That's right, sir. It's not just presidents, it's not public figures, it's individuals. Let's start with the easy question then. Maybe we can...
That was pretty easy. Go ahead.
All right, Doctor, you're going to have to just answer the questions.
Okay, sorry about that.
Let's go back to what you just said about narcissistic personality traits.
Yes.
Narcissistic personality disorder is a DSM-5 diagnosis, correct?
Correct.
And you haven't testified that Mr. Depp has narcissistic personality disorder.
I would certainly, if I didn't, I'm certainly thinking that, but at least I'm going to say he has traits which are characteristics of provisional diagnosis of, it's a provisional diagnosis of probably narcissistic personality disorder. But yeah, I mean, I do believe that.
Well, but when you say provisional diagnosis, you
O
know...
zaman biri otursun ve benim hakkımda desin ki işte ne bileyim işte ben Pelin'in beni izlesin sadece yayınlarımdan şöyle bir hastalığı olduğunu inanıyorum desin. İnsanlara akıl hastalığı atfetmek Türkiye sınırları içerisinde de bir suç bu arada. Eğer böyle bir şey yoksa mesela suç. Gerçekten suç bu arada. Ve psikolojik şiddete giriyor. Mesela atıyorum diyelim ki ilişki içerisinde birisine deli dediniz. Bunun da ses kaydını mı aldı? Gidersin mahkemeye verir ha. Gerçekten verir. Ha hapis yatmazsanız çok yüksek ihtimalle. Ama mesela manevi bir tazminat davası çakar yani size.
The DSM-5 requires, in order to find that diagnosis, 5 of the 9 factors. Mm-hmm. And you haven't done that analysis. You've never made that diagnosis.
I'm identifying traits that are consistent with the diagnosis, yes.
Right. You rendered an opinion about Mr. Depp's purported cognitive impairment.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you use as a baseline? You compared pirates to the depositions given in this case.
Then I apologize for what I said. Then I misspoke.
You misspoke? You didn't make the comparison?
I apologize, I misspoke.
Okay. Because you know you can't compare.
Ya ne olur biriniz şu adama baksın ya. Gıybet çevirmek için geberdi orada. Geberdi. İkinize de döndü baktı, bir gıybet çevirin şu adamcağızla ya. Öldü orada köşede. Bak.
Pirates.
Bak cehalet karşısında şok oldu bak.
You misspoke? You didn't
Dönün
make
bakın.
the comparison?
Ay,
I
ne
apologize,
diyor?
I misspoke.
Okay. Because you know you can't compare pirates to sworn testimony, right?
Yes.
Any of Mr. Depp's other portrayals in movies, did that affect your analysis of processing speed?
Only I've seen him interact on interviews, and that was it.
Right.
When he wasn't in movies.
Right. But Willy Wonka doesn't matter to you? You see him in that movie, Charlie and Chocolate Factory? Did you look at that one when you were comparing his processing speed?
Evet abi, orada Umpa Lumpalara hiç iyi davranmıyordu. O kadar da iyi davranmıyordu bu arada Umpa Lumpalara. Evet.
Do I have to answer that question, Your Honor?
You have to answer questions. Yes, sir.
No, you'll be happy to know I didn't see Willy Wonka and I didn't see 21 Jump Street when it happened or whatever it was about. No, I did not.
Okay, but you don't know enough about acting to know whether actors rehearse?
Sir, I am not an expert in acting. I have no idea what an actor does.
During your deposition, what were the circumstances under which you decided to call Mr. Depp an idiot? Is it a psychiatric opinion?
That follows the Goldwater rule.
How does it follow the...
Oh, you just said that. I'm not rendering a professional opinion. I just said idiot. That's not a...
No, so idiot is not a professional opinion?
Mm-hmm.
Ne?
What you found hard to believe, sir, was that every line of the script was pumped through an earpiece. Where did you ever get the idea that occurred?
That's what I read in the court review, the court evidence. That's where I got it from.
Right. You know whether Marlon Brando used an earpiece?
Isn't he dead?
Yeah.
So the answer is no, he does not use one now.
Oh, no, I used the past tense, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know nothing. I will concede to you, I know nothing about acting.
Hiçbir şey anlamadım beyefendi. Nasıl bir uzmanlık bu, ben çözemedim sizinkini.
One of the primary organizations that has issued guidelines about practice of forensic psychiatry is called the American Academy of Psychiatry and the Law. This is an organization that represents forensic psychiatrists, and it has published guidelines about what constitutes an ethical and sound practice of doing a forensic assessment and providing a psychiatric opinion. Contains many elements that are consistent with the Goldwater rule. So, for example, it states that for a forensic assessment to be done, there has to be informed consent, and there should be a very thorough, comprehensive evaluation that would include reviewing past records, past psychiatric history. The guidelines do state that it is reasonable or permitted to provide an opinion without an evaluation, but if you're going to do that, there's some things that you have to really make clear in your opinion when you express that opinion. And the first is that you have to acknowledge the limitations of your opinion and not, like Dr. Spiegel, say that his opinion was held with a degree of medical certainty.
Did you form an opinion about Dr. Spiegel's testimony with respect to these practice guidelines?
Yes, I did.
And what is your opinion?
Well, my opinion is that he did not follow those guidelines. So, for example, he did not have consent. He did not do even...
Bu arada Johnny Depp'in tarafının çıkarttığı psikolog Amber Heard'le görüşmüş değil mi? Terapi vermiş hatta. Ben mi yanlış anladım? Doğru anladım değil mi? Ama diğer çıkan beyefendi Johnny Depp'le bir temel bir böyle hani bir terapi görüşmesi yapılmamış. Tamam, teşekkür ediyorum. Evet, kek yemiş. Benim aklımdan çok o kaldı. Sadece konuşuyorlar mı? Terapi mi alıyor? Ekkati. Yo ben şeyden bahsediyorum. Amber Heard'e kişilik bozukluğu var diyen var. Borderline kişilik bozukluğu var diyen. Onu söylüyorum. Ha, sadece konuşuyorlar. Tanı koymak için. Okey, tamam. Ama
A,
bilgi de
a basic
daha iyi
evaluation
galiba.
of Mr. Depp when asked about should neuropsychological testing be performed. He said most patients don't have access to that, which is actually not at all true. I mean, every medical school has neuropsychologists that can do testing. So I think that was an unfortunate statement.
Would you please state your full name?
Ne kadar güzel bir kadınsın hala ya. Hala o kadar güzelsin ki. Çıldıracağım bu güzelliğinden senin. Hala çok güzel ya. Şuna bak. Nedir bu ya? Ne, sen yaşlanmıyor musun be? Bebek gibi hala.
For the record.
Kate Moss,
Miss Moss, where do you reside?
London, England.
Miss Moss,
London,
do you know
England.
Johnny Depp?
Yes, I do.
How do you know Mr. Depp?
I had a relationship with him
For how long, Miss Moss, were you and Mr. Depp a romantic couple?
from 1993 to 1994 to 1998.
Miss Moss, did there come a time when you, while you and Mr. Depp were a couple, that the two of you took a vacation together to the Golden Eye Resort in Jamaica?
Yes.
What, if anything, happened when you were in Jamaica with Mr. Depp?
We were leaving the room, and Johnny left the room before I did, and there had been a rainstorm, and as I left the room, I slid down the stairs, and I hurt my back, and I screamed because I was because I didn't know what had happened to me, and I was in pain, and he came running back to help me and carried me to my room and got me medical attention.
Did Mr. Depp push you in any way down the stairs?
No.
During the course of your relationship, did he ever push you down any stairs?
No, he never pushed me, kicked me, or threw me down any stairs.
Okay. Yani size şöyle söyleyeyim. Kate Moss benim bayıldığım bir kadın. Bayılıyorum. Çünkü çok da zarif bir kadın aynı zamanda. Yani böyle zarif derken nasıl söyleyeyim? Çok işinde gücünde bir kadın. Anlatabildim mi? Çok işinde gücünde bir kadın. Ben mesela buraya gelmesine çok şaşırdım yani. Yeminli ifade altında yalan söyleyemezsiniz. Yeminli ifade çünkü. Yani şu anda olayı yaşayan bir başkası hakkında beyanda bulunuyor. Kate Moss da çıkıyor diyor ki öyle bir şey olmadı. Hiçbir zaman böyle bir şey yaşamadım diyor. Yo biliyorum FaceTime yaptığını anladım zaten, hani mahkeme salonunda değil, onu zaten anladım. Yani geldi dedim, abi şuna bile diyebilirdi yani, hayır hani ben bu davaya gelmek istemiyorum, ben bir şey söylemek istemiyorum da diyebilirdi. Söz hakkı doğuyor ama isterse de şey diyebiliyor, yo hayır ben gelmek istemiyorum. Hı?
But did Warner Brothers at any point in time reduce Ms. Heard's role in Aquaman 2?
No, I mean, again, from the early stages of the development of the script, the movie was built around the character of Arthur and the character of Orm, Arthur being Jason Momoa and Orm being Patrick Wilson. So they were always the two co-leads of the movie.
Did Warner Brothers ever plan to portray Ms. Heard as the co-lead in Aquaman 2?
No, it was the movie was always pitched as a buddy comedy between Jason Momoa and Patrick Wilson.
Was her compensation for Aquaman 2 affected in any way by anything said by Johnny Depp?
No.
Was her compensation for Aquaman 2 affected by anything said by anybody representing Johnny Depp?
No.
Was there any delay in Warner Brothers exercising the option to cast Ms. Heard in Aquaman 2?
Yes, there was.
How long a delay was there?
I don't know, probably weeks.
What was the cause of the delay?
There were conversations about potentially recasting. It was the concerns that were brought up at the wrap of the first movie, production of the first movie, which is the issue of chemistry. Did the two have chemistry? I think editorially they were able to make that relationship work in the first movie, but there was a concern that it took a lot of effort to get there. And would we be better off recasting, finding someone who had better, more natural chemistry with Jason Momoa and move forward that way?
Vallahi yani o kadar hiç bilmiyorum ki Amber Heard nerede oynadı, nerede şey oldu, nerede böyle oldu. Bu davada kanıt olarak kullanılan ve benim de videoların birinde kullanıp telif uyarısı aldım. Johnny Depp'in mutfak dolaplarına vurduğu görüntüler TMZ tarafından satın mı alınmış? Bir dakika. Hep beraber. Satmış deme. Hep beraber çok iyi yaşayalım. Sattın mı gerçekten? Önceki çocuklara yardım yapacağım, şiddet görmüş kadınlara yardım yapacağım dediğin yardımı öde. Sana çok kızgınım. Öyle böyle kızgın değilim sana. Geçtiğini kimseye zan altına bırakmadan ama açıkça söyleyerek yemin... Hadi bakalım kim sattı? Dur bakalım.
On the 12th, we received a video depicting Johnny Depp slamming some cabinets that was captured by Ms. Heard.
Can you describe to the jury how you received the video on August 12, 2016?
So I received that email and it included a link.
So you received a link. What was in that link?
In that link was the video of Johnny Depp smashing the cabinets.
And you received this video in your inbox, correct?
I did.
What did you do once you received that video?
We downloaded it. We alerted the web editor who was sitting next to me at the time, and then were instructed by the news producer to do what we call slap bumpers and a bug on it, which is putting the dun dun dun at the beginning end, and then putting a translucent watermark over it, which indicates copyright ownership.
After you did that, was it posted?
It was posted, yes.
Where was it posted?
It was posted to tmz.com.
Did you do anything else related to Amber Heard on August 12, 2016?
Yes, I received a tip that Amber Heard would be arriving at LAX, and so I dispatched camera people to film that exit, or her arrival to LAX, rather.
And why did you do that?
I was instructed to.
How long does it take to post a story after media's been received by TMZ?
After media's been received, it could take any length of time depending on who owns the copyright.
How does
arada gerçekten Drago Malfoy'a ne kadar benziyor.
TMZ obtain copyright over images and videos?
The only way to obtain copyright over media would be if we shot it ourselves, if it was sent to the tip line, source verified that it was from the original copyright owner, and then either purchased from that person or given to us. And then the third option would be if it was directly given to us by the copyright holder, like a direct source.
And how long does it take to copyright something TMZ has received through the tip line?
It can take a while because you have to extensively verify that that person owns the copyright. And then possibly, it depends also if you can even get in contact with the person because they might not be super responsive immediately.
How long does it take for TMZ to obtain a copyright over something received directly from a source?
Something in the realm of 15 minutes just to do what I described before, which is putting...
Adam da başında dedi ki hemen geldi video. Hemen şeyleri ekledik. Tak tak tak diye ekledik. Filigrana ekledik. Ve yayınladık dedi. Yani videoyu çeken şahıstan aldık dedi aslında.
Putting bumpers and a bug on something and write the article and post it. It's pretty fast.
How much time had passed from the time you received the kitchen cabinet video to the time it was posted on TMZ?
About 15 minutes.
Yani dedi ki Amber Heard bize sattı bu görüntüyü.
You know this case is being televised, right?
I am aware that there are cameras.
And so this gets you your 15 minutes of fame.
So I stand to gain nothing from this. I'm actually putting myself kind of in a target of TMZ, a very litigious organization, and I'm not seeking any 15 minutes here. Though you're welcome to speculate. I could say the same thing by taking Amber Heard as a client for you.
Ne?
Are you familiar with the defendant in this matter, Amber Heard?
Yes, I am.
And how are you familiar with her?
I met her in 2009 at SeaTac International Airport.
Why were you at the airport?
I worked there.
What happened when you met Ms. Heard in 2009?
I was in the baggage claim area and I observed her with a traveling companion, and they got into an altercation where Ms. Heard had grabbed her traveling companion and pulled something from her neck. At that point, I got up and went over to try to break up what appeared to be a fight. And I summoned a colleague to help me, and I stepped in between them and separated them, stopping any further injuries or escalation.
How would you describe the...
Ay bak, kavga etmeyi zaten sevmem. Dışarıda kavga etmeyi hiç sevmiyorum. Hiç sevmiyorum hem de.
interaction between Ms. Heard and her traveling companion?
Ms. Heard was aggressive towards her traveling companion. She had reached up and grabbed her arm and pulled a necklace off of her, and then I observed her having it in her hand. She seemed to be not very steady on her feet. Her eyes were blurry and watery, and I could smell alcohol.
What did Ms. Heard's traveling companion do?
She raised her hands in what appeared to be a defensive manner, but other than that, she was pretty stoic and didn't really respond much. Her stature was 2 or 3 inches taller than Ms. Heard, so she didn't really need to have to defend herself.
How would you describe Ms. Heard's demeanor when you stepped in between Ms. Heard and her traveling companion?
Ne alaka abi ya? Ne alaka meşhurlukla? Ben anlayamıyorum. Yani ne olsun, kimse çıkmasın, bir de nasıl bir ün kazanabilir ki? Nasıl bir ün kazanabilir? Bir gün bir davada 5 dakika gördüğün biri nasıl bir ün kazanabilir? Anlayamadım. Hadi bakalım, Photoshop meselesini ben aşırı merak ettim. Evet abi, kimse konuşması mı çıkıp ne olsun yani? Hadi bakalım.
Mr. Neumeister, is this photo of
Pqueen Amber izleyerek ünlü olmaya. Vallahi Türkiye'ye Amber Heard bu davadan önce gelseydi ve deseydik ki, yan yana dursaydık, deselerdi ki Amber Heard mü daha ünlüdür, bu kız mı daha ünlüdür, Türkiye'de çoğu kişi beni gösterirdi. Bu kız daha ünlüdür. Ama davadan önce diyorum. Davadan önce diyorum. Sen zaten meşhursun Pelin. Nereden? Ben meşhur değilim arkadaşlar. Ben meşhur değilim. Ben belli bir camiada bir ünlüyüm. Belli bir camiada ünlüyüm ben. Ben öyle herkesin bildiği, herkesin tanıdığı, sokakta durdurup fotoğraf çektirmek istediği meşhur ben değilim yani. Bence değilim.
appear to be one that you have analyzed as part of your analysis in this case?
There were many versions of this photo. Some had been through Photos 1 or Photos 3, which are photo editing software programs.
And Mr. Neumeister, what does this demonstrative show about the photos that you analyzed?
Well, they appear to be similar. However, if you look below at the file sizes, one on the left is 712 kilobytes. The one in the middle is 489 kilobytes. And the one on the right is 524 kilobytes. Now, what's unusual about that is these photos will not digitally fingerprint with each other. They won't hash. In other words, forensically, they don't match. There's no way to authenticate any photo that was presented in the way the evidence was collected.
Vallahi onu soracaktım, biliyor musunuz? Ya benim en çok düşündüğüm şey şu. İlk daha doğrusu bir arkadaşı bağlanıyor Amber Heard'ün. Kadın ağlaya ağlaya anlatıyor fotoğrafların nasıl şey olduğunu falan filan. Hatta orada da çok garip bir şey var. Kadına diyor ki bu fotoğrafları işte kısmi ya da zart zurt olarak gerçeğe yakın bir şekilde mi çektiniz? Kadın da diyor ki evet öyle olduğunu düşünüyorum. Mesela diyor ki bu fotoğrafı siz mi çektiniz, hatırlamıyorum diyor. Benim arkadaşım bana bazı garip gelen kısımlar var. Benim arkadaşım şiddet görse ve ben bunun fotoğrafını çeksem, beni o mahkemeye çıkartsanız, ben direkt derim ki evet bunları ben çektim, orada da bir it oturuyor derdim. Bak beni kimse de susturamazdı ha. Kimse beni susturamazdı. Derdim evet bu fotoğrafı ben çektim. Bir de sürekli yanındayım yani. Düşünsene, sürekli yanındayım. Fotoğrafını çekiyorum. O şiddeti görüyorum. %100 evet dersi okurken ben kendimi korurum. Ben kendimi korurum kardeşim. Derim ki evet bu fotoğrafı ben çektim. Yüksek ihtimalle evet demem mesela ben. Ben derim ki bunu ben çektim, bu kameradan çıkacağım, sen ne demeyeceğim oraya gelip derdim. Ağlamak yerine de orada öyle bir dimdik dururdum ki herkesin gıcığına giderdi o dik duruşum.
Collected. All three of these photos had to go through some type of transformation to change sizes.
You mentioned photos 1.5 and photos 3.0 earlier, I believe.
Photos.
What is that?
Photos 3 and Photos 1.5 are editing programs that Macintosh or Apple put out with their product. It's for editing photos. In other words, you would put a photo in and you would change the colors, or you would crop it, or you would clarify it by enhancing, for example, the sharpening, or you could darken it. But when you save a photo through an editing program, you leave a mark on the EXIF data. The EXIF data is the data that is embedded in a photograph that tells you a lot about the photograph. Well, in this situation, I can see that normally where the operating system of the camera would be, which means the version that the operating system the phone is running on, it would normally say something like I'll just throw out
Hiçbir
an
yönden
arbitrary
evli
number.
değilim. Evim de yok. Biriyle evli de değilim. Hiçbir yönden evli değilim. Evsizim.
9.1.3 operating system for iOS, which is Apple's iPhone operating system. Instead of saying that, it says software Photos 3.0 or Photos 1.0. That means that the photo had to be rendered, which means composited together in an editing program. So, for example, things you would see, the very top line would be the make of phone. It's an Apple iPhone 6. And then the resolution is 72 pixels per inch, 72 to 1. And instead, where it says software on a normal iPhone photo, it would, instead of saying Photos 3, it would say the software version, for example, 9.3.1. You know, right there, you've got Photos 3.0 on that particular photo. And I think, you know, we've pretty much covered what the stuff is. But again, you see the Photos 3.0. And again, this could not come out of an iPhone this way. This would go into a computer, be edited and rendered through the photo.
Ya abi siz diğer davada siz gerzek mi peki diğer mahkeme ya? Bakmadınız mı hiçbirine? Aa, çıldırıcıyım. Adoslar. Çıldırıcıyım adoslar ya. Nasıl bakmazsınız ya? Ne yaptınız? Baktınız sonra da şey mi dediniz? Okey, tamam, böyle bir fotoğraf var, o zaman kabul edelim mi dediniz? 20 kere bakılır zaten. Photoshop mu var, yok mu? Uzman alınır. Zilyon tane uzman alınır. Orada gazeteye dava açılmış. Hayır, Amber Heard'de de niye? O zaman niye Amber Heard'e para verdi? Sadece gazeteye dava açıldıysa. Gazete davası ayrı, boşanma davası ayrı. Anam o kadar nafaka işte, bak ama bak şimdi o kadar yüksek bir nafaka içinde ha 7 milyon nafaka.
Editing photo editor, and this would then be embedded in the EXIF data.
And what about this one?
Same thing, Photos 3.0. And again, in a photo editing app, you can do an awful lot of things. So when you see Photos 3.0, first of all, you know it's not anywhere near an original. There's going to be compression artifacts because it's a JPEG file.
Hadi bakalım. Yarından itibaren yani. Ben bu davanın sonucunu biliyorum ya. Benim şeyini boşamam için 50.000 altına ihtiyacım var benim. Bu dava bence net Johnny Depp kazanacak yani. Bence jürinin de fikri oraya daha yatkın zaten. Çok garip. Çok garip. Araya tatil giriyor. En erken haftaya salı belli olacak. Hadi bakalım ne olacak. Göreceğiz hep beraber. Yani davada bir taraf Johnny'yi tutacak, bir taraf Amber'ı tutacak. Kimi insan hiç kimseyi tutmayacak. Diyecek ki ben sadece buraya mevzu dinlemeye geldim. Yani hiç sevmediğim şeyler ya. Ay, gerçekten yani bir ilişki yaşandı ve bitti yani. Bence insanlar olmadığı noktada zaten arkasını dönüp gidebilme cesaretini göstermeli de. Çünkü şey çok rahatsız edici ya. Mesela ilişkim üzerine sürekli bir yerde konuştuğumu düşünmek bile istemiyorum ya. İstemiyorum yani. Beni çok rahatsız ediyor. İkimiz yaşadık ya çünkü hani onu. Giderim davamı açarım. Davaya da gizlilik koydururum. Derim ki hocam bizi bir boşa ya. Bizi bir boşayın. Bu beni salmıyor. Bizi bir boşayın ama davada da gizlilik olsun derim. Senin de yolun açık olsun canım benim derim. Yoluma bakmaya çalışırım yani. Diğer türlü ne bileyim ben hiç uğraşamam ya. Gerçekten hiç uğraşamam. Bir de karşı tarafın da bu arada uğraşmasını istemem yani. En başında şu davayı düzgün bir şekilde açsaydınız birbirinize, düzgün bir şekilde boşansaydınız, hayatınıza baksaydınız ya. Ne kötü şimdi nelerle uğraşıyorsunuz yani. Yok photoshoplu fotoğraftı. Yok mesela ben en çok neye kızdım? Bu davada en çok kızdığım şey ne biliyor musunuz? Amber Heard'ın şov için şunu demesi. Ben aldığım boşanma davasından aldığım paranın bir kısmını çocuk hastanesine, bir kısmını da şiddetten mağdur olan kadınlara bağışlayacağım deyip bağışlamaması. Benim şu anda bak bu davada gerçekten başımı döndüren ve beni en sinirlendiren mevzu bu ya. Ya çünkü günün sonunda melek değilsin. Melek olmadığını da herkes gördü. Johnny Depp'in de melek olmadığını bence herkes gördü. Yani tamam okey kendisi diyor yani işte ben hiçbir şekilde şiddet uygulamadım. Çıkan herkes de şiddet uygulamadığını etmediğini söylüyor. Ama birkaç tane tabii ki de WhatsApp yazışması bilmem nesi bağırtı çağırtısı falanı filanı var. Tamam o da melek değilmiş ilişkide. Ama senin bu yaptığın yani şey yapmak. Ben kendimi melek yapayım demek. Yani ne gerek var ya? 7 milyonu alacağım, kendime yeni bir hayat kuracağım deseydim mesela. Kim sana bir şey diyecekti? Niye şova giriyorsun? Hele bir de yapmayacağım bir şova. Kendin yapaydın yani. Dava carçurt derken o sırada benim haller. Afiyet Duru yazıyor bak linkte.